Hey there folks, and welcome to Gran Turismo 7 Weekly Challenges of August Week 5. In other words, August 29th to September 4th. Starting with the European Sunday Cup 400, one of the new events we just got. At Circuit de Santa Cruz. B reverse. Yeah. Which I am driving the Alfa Romeo Mito 2009. This is a fun little car, and I made this in a build of the 155 miles per hour, so essentially road car with some spoilers and stuff, a little bit of tunes, race tunes and stuff, so. But tuned to only 155 miles per hour, so 283 horsepower is just what you need, and that's all set to it, basically. But the Alfa Romeo Mito, pretty fun little car at the end of it. Because it's exactly been there since like Gran Turismo 5 and just been there since then. It's a weird car, but still fun regardless. And also strange too, because for an engine, not really famous at all, but it's there. It's just one of those cars that you have to like look underneath the rock, so it's like, yeah, there's like a couple cars that just feel like that case where they're there, you really don't know if you end up using them, so to say. But you probably use this over that, so to say. And this is one of those cars that kind of fit that situation. Yep, I am basically racing against a bunch of hatchbacks, what it looks like here, and a couple old ones, like the Alpine A110 1972 there. Get the Megane RS Trophy. Yeah, that's the reason why I went with Comfort Softs, because screw you, Megane. That's the only one with the sports hard tires. Because again, this is supposed to be a 450 event. That's a 500 pp car. How many times did I gotta say that, you know? And this is the new event on top of it. Because yeah, this is for the Advent time that we just passed much earlier here. Because yeah, this car's gonna be a lot faster than the competition. Because I think it hits about almost 500 pp. So, pretty good, pretty good. Also, this color is not normal on the Mito, I will say. I think it's like red, black, and white. I gave it a green. Yeah, I think it's on the Guela instead. Here, the little one or the big one. It's one of the two. But I put the pretty green on the Mito, and yeah, that looks pretty good, I gotta say. Yeah, my objective is to keep it at least road car looking-ish, but give it the speed fundamentals to do at least 155 miles per hour. So, this is what I did to the Mito at the end of the day. Having a fun time with it. So, I just basically drive this to victory because this ain't gonna be a long race. So, yeah, the Golf 7 GTI, which doesn't use sports hard tires. The TT Coupe, which doesn't use sports hard tires. The Megane RS Trophy, which does use sports hard tires, and the only one that uses sports hard tires. 208 GTI Pavojo. I don't know why they add that to the name, but the 208 GTI also use Comfort Softs. I think the Alpine A110 uses Comfort Mediums, I believe. If I recall. 205 GTI, I believe mediums as well. Yeah, mediums for that one, mediums for that one. Pro GTI is Comfort Softs. And then the 2008 Allure is Comfort Softs. What else is here? Yeah, Mito uses, I think that uses the Comfort Mediums, I think initially. But technically got better tires on. Next, let's see. Oh no, the Allure uses Comfort Mediums, okay. Yeah, it's gonna get wrong at some point. Oh, okay, the Mito is soft, okay. Okay, so I got the ass backwards. The Advent time here uses Comfort Mediums. But yeah, there's the Advent times. So we'll be seeing that shortly because there's a special event dedicated to that. That's the good part. And you got the Aber 500 2009, which is Comfort Softs. Yep, okay. Which is the slowest one out of the competition, which not surprised, that's 500. Very one of the oddest hatchbacks to me still to this day. It's weird, tipsy design that I don't know if it's a good design for aerodynamic reasons at all. No. But it is what it is. If people like it, people like it. I mean, it's a small car. It's technically a micro car that sits in the ranks, I would say, with a Mini Cooper and stuff. Yeah, just got a lot of little fun cars at the end there. But I find A110. Got a long bridge. So yeah, this is basically like a little road trip of a race because yeah, this race usually takes about, I want to say 3 minutes around for these cars. But not a long, not super long race. It is okay for the most part. Yeah, I will be doing this event in the future with the regular Aventime. And so, because yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do the weeklies here before I do the showcase and stuff. Yeah, that basically ends that for the Mito and stuff. Very fun car at the end of the day. The tame little hatchback. So now on to the special event. Because yeah, this is up next, right then there. At the Alsace Village. The special event is dedicated to the Aventime. Such, but yeah, you can drive the regular one or you can drive the one with the engine swap. Cause yeah, fun fact, this car already has an engine swap. So you can stick the Mercedes AMG GTR, well not GTR, but GT3 motor in the Aventime if you want to. I will say, this is just from TAP. This is just the regular motor. It could do like 500 horsepower, which is very impressive. You can, matter of fact, do 200 miles per hour too, which is super impressive. Like, holy crap, this is like, damn. This is achieving a lot of things, like I said, in my regards. And then not only that, I suffer a huge case of torque steer either. It's pretty controllable. Matter of fact, it's not really stuttering at all and nothing. It's like right at the spot of goodness. It's very impressive, like I say, in regards and stuff. And then I tried, if you want to know a spoiler in advance, I will say you will be seeing the GT3 motor, and gotta say, if you like torque steering, then drive the Mercedes GT3 motor on this one. If you don't like torque steering, drive this one, because it's actually kind of better in that regards. The only reason why I would still suggest the GT3 motor, better fuel mileage. There's a bigger fat gas tank at the end of the day, so. But yeah, that's basically the average time how fast it can go at 200 miles per hour. But yeah, not surprised, I'm just gonna blow out the competition at the end of the day because they didn't really, they designed the cars, but you guys forgot to tune them. Just like, come on. Come on. Anyways, just might as well just blow through the competition at the end of the day. Yeah, overall, I will say about the Aventime, the saving grace. I'll just say this car is the saving grace for this update in general, because like every other car is a turd to me on this one, because it just was not good. Like either one car suffer a huge problem to the other, but this one, magnificent. It's beautiful. This is definitely the A tier car and the savior. This car. It gets the savior badge because this is the only car you will want to drive in this update at the end of the day, because the other two or the other three, oh crap. Which I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say at all. It's just like, what the F. I will say. Heads up on that. But overall, the Aventime is a very fun car. Very fun car, and like I said, it looks pretty good what the decal did. I did kind of similar decal what they did, but a little twist to it. Made like the checkers sharper, not the round like that. And gonna add decal, but I'm still kind of trying to think like where to slap that decal at. You know, but yeah, you got. They also did their version 2 here and stuff for decals, so if you want to see examples. I will note, for some reason, they didn't do 20 Aventimes. They only did 10. So you won't see the full roster of the racing ones. I say racing ones loosely because they're sports medium tire ones. They're all sports medium. With the racing ones having a bit of a tune upgrade to them. That's really it. And then you just got these base ones here. I don't know what's the point of having the base ones here, to be honest. But it is what it is, it seems. I don't know what to say. So that's basically the average times in general. Yeah, that. This is a car that a lot of people ask for, and you know what? I agree on that boat nowadays because, like, holy crap, this car was definitely underneath my rock for a good while for test driving. Yeah, this is a pretty good minivan at the end of the day. Yeah, this is technically a minivan, but it's a coupe minivan, which is probably the big reason why it failed, because it's a coupe of a minivan. Like, who kind of asked for this, you know? It's just very strange, and especially with that weird back notch going on there in the back of the minivan, it's just very strange. Now, will I say this completely replaces the S-Space? No, if anything, this gives you a saving time for now, because the problem about the admin time, it's an FF, so... But it is better than the production S-Space, though. I'll give it that, though. But I'm just really shocked, though, for a motor it has 500 horsepower. You can tune this up to like 500 plus, which is really insane in regards. And doesn't really suffer much torque steering, because I wonder if it's just one of those cases where the longer body for an FF, technically it's better, because then you don't suffer that much torque steering, because your wheels will still be weighted down, so to say, or stretched out enough. I guess that's an excuse, but I don't know what's the real answer to that at the end of the day. But that's what kind of my assumptions so far. Yeah, overall though, the Avatar, a very fun car, especially even at 200 miles per hour. Which is amazing, because most FFs that hit that usually have a problem at that point. A huge problem, one way or the other. And like I said, the GT3 motor, it kind of suffers a bit of acceleration stutter. But this one, don't. Or if it does, it's a little bit steering, that's about it. But now onto the Vision Gran Turismo Trophy at Grand Valley Highway 1. Which I am driving the Subaru BZ GT VGT. A very special car and a car I do like. But the problem is they need to update this car big time at the end of the day. So you may be wondering, hey, where's the Corvette CX? Surely you could drive the Corvette CX in this event, right? Now, if we look at the fine print of this magnificent car, you see that it is a road car, hypercar, concept car, and electric car. What we need is a Vision Gran Turismo car. So therefore, the CX Corvette cannot do this event. Which really, really, really irks me. Like, another big reason why that car deserves a big old fat F, too, because it's garbage. It's like, very fucking garbage at the end of the day. Oh, and don't get me on the whole battery thing, just to say it sucks to drive. I'm just gonna say that now, it just slurps it up. So it's like, and before you ask about the CXR, can't, because you can't down tune it enough. Unless you slap that sucker on sports soft tires, then you can, but I have another big issue with the CXR. And that is its stupid hybrid drive, because out of all the hybrid drives I tried, I think that one is the worst. Let's just say that 80% is the electric motor, 20% is the engine. And then you come back to me on that, because, oh, and just to say, it's down to the 1,200, so 20% of that. Then come back to me. And I will say, it's also probably less too. And then come back to me. That's why I'm not driving the CXR. because of the big old steaming pile of shit. I'll just say that. Because I don't know what they're thinking about this whole electrification crap, but that battery, I have huge issues with that battery. It's called Get a Better Battery. You know, one that survives as long as a freaking gas car, because for some reason it just slurps it up like it's freaking drink on Fridays. A good drink. But instead, I am driving the Subaru GT7 because this is a car that I do like, but the problem about driving this is the challenge you have to deal with, because the biggest problem about Vision Gran Turismo entirety on top of it is, yeah, this event sucks itself too on top of it, because how inconsistent the performance of these cars from one to another. Because like that Skoda hits like 900 pp. My GT7 hits only like 750 with the racing mediums, by the way. So it's not the greatest either. And then you have all these other ones here that hit basically about GT3 performance at best. But I know that Skoda there hits about grade 2 performance or grade 1, basically, with that electric motor. And then the Porsche, you think the Porsche is a crazy one. He's exactly not. He's not that super crazy, but he's up there. But the Skoda is the real challenge at the end of the day. So, the biggest problem about driving the GT7, oh, did I said GT7? Okay, it's GT7. Okay. But yeah, that's the biggest problem I have about driving the GT7, because it's technically out of range in some cases. It can still do it though, so it has a possibility. It's just very not, you know, it's very challenging at the end of it, because you have to deal with that Skoda, and that Skoda would whip its bunhole any day. So if it's so tried. Luckily the AI is not trying, because if it did, it would be winning. Because I know that Skoda's a lot faster than this car any day. But if I have anything to do say, I think this is the Subaru car that's pretty amazing, I will say. Because it's kind of like you took like a bit of the concept of the crossover, but you kept the sedan layout, so to say. Which makes it very interesting in regards. It's like basically it just reminds me of an old style, you know, 1930s car, but modernized, you know. That's what it kind of reminds me of, but given a cyber sharp look and everything else. So it's pretty amazing in regards. Just the biggest problem is they don't have a cabin, because this is the GT7 was made like 2015 or so, and this was back then when they weren't doing cabins just yet. Because the Vision car thing appeared in Gran Turismo 6, which was debatable if they were going to make cabins or not. Some premium cars had, some didn't. Most of the Vision cars didn't at first, because they didn't know if they should have made it or not at that time. And then when it came to upon sport and onwards, then they decided to. They should have done it since the first place, but you know, it is what it is. So then looking at the Skoda's front like this is pretty crazy. So then that is a pop-in HUD too. That you're literally seeing numbers phasing there. And then yeah, the GT7, you can't see the cabin. That's like the Peugeot too. The Peugeot VGT, which there's two Peugeot VGTs by the way. This one though, you can't see the cabin. So yeah, there's just a bunch of VGTs here that don't have their cabin revealed because they haven't been updated. Which really kind of sucks in that matter. Which, you know, I wouldn't think that really affect the physics of those cars very much, but you know, it is what it is, it seems. And the reason why people kind of hate these cars at the end of the day, because you can't really technically do much with them. Nor you could tune them, you could down tune them though, so you can have an interesting environment with that case, on that matter. The problem is, like, if you're doing like something like very miles per hour specific, like try to do the people's rule, I would have to do a special rule for that. those ones because you can't set the transmission because the transmissions aren't customizable. Most of them aren't. On top of it, that's the biggest problem about Division Gran Turismo cars. They're just not that very good in regards. But yeah, that's why I also will say I'm not driving the CX entirely because it's not a Vision concept car. Even though I find this event should have just concept cars in general, to be honest, like the Porsche Mission X. Because yeah, I will say there was one before, but I would technically consider that a fine one because it wasn't that horrendously bad to say. It was good in some regards, but not a whole lot. So yeah, the only way I'm trying that car now is probably through the hypercar parade whenever I see it. So just to show the crap stain that is that car too. So oh my god, it's a hypercar. It's like as if the Aston Martin Vulcan was a crap to begin with. Cause yeah, I've been trying that car a lot too. Because just to say, there's an event up here that gonna be doing the 800. Try to do it in that. It's crap. It won't do it. Because even at the 200 mile per hour setup, it's just kind of crap to be honest. Maybe I'm missing something or something like that. Perhaps maybe I gotta do the racing medium tires. It just feels like at the end of the day, it's just not good. That said, I picked the alternative in that case. Why pick a car that's supposed to be based off of racing when you can pick a car that is racing? Yeah, that's basically about it for the VZIV, which yeah, surprisingly got to them eventually. I was shocked about that. But yeah, this has a hybrid system too, which the hybrid system lasts for a good while too. I mean, unless it's a speed course, of course, I would just eat it like no tomorrow. But surprisingly, it holds its ground. That's basically it for the VZIV GT VGT. A very interesting car together, but yeah. So now on to Ferrari Circuit Challenge at the Autodromo Nazionale Monza. I am driving the Testarossa 1991, tuned to 200 miles per hour. So yeah. Which yeah, as you can see in the horsepower, it doesn't really need a whole lot. It just needs that acceleration boost from the transmission stuff. Because otherwise it's like 417 horsepower or something like that. It's like not a whole lot. Such. But yeah, I gotta say I love this gold too I came across from the used car trip. Yeah, there's a lot of colors and stuff. But yeah, if you ever want to see a used car or a legendary car, because some cars have different colors and stuff, just go into the, well, I won't say livery, but save its design, so to say. Once you save its design, you can load that design and you can just see all the colors. Just make sure to have the base color still on it and not some custom color. So say, in case you just want to see the other colors of the car at the end of it. And such. But yeah, the Testarossa, just driving the Testarossa to victory, so to say. Which yeah, it's also in the used trip, but not for long though. It says it's about to go, so this might be gone, or this car might be gone by the time I upload this. So I just know it's a white color, so you're not missing much on that one. Got the Dinos too. Still fun car at the end there, and then you got 308. The successor. It's kind of funny, there's a 208 too, but that's considered one of the worst Ferraris due to oil crisis concern on that one. That's why the 208 exists, but it wasn't a good existence. So it was slower than the regular Dino. Just sad. I got the F8 Tributo, so the successor to the Italia. I say successor to the Italia loosely, apparently there was one in between on that matter. I don't know what exactly, because yeah, there is some Ferraris we're missing. So, and you got the California, which would be 6.5, or I was Cannonball Racer. It was the winner of the Cannonball race, or the actual winner of the Cannonball race. The other winner is the Lamborghini Countach. And then you got the Ferrari F12. Yeah, it kind of sucks that event died because, you know, police and stuff, safety reasons, and where that person was were to die and stuff. So yeah, there's some crazy fun races like that. Although I understand, like, getting caught by the cops and stuff. There's a danger to it, and you know, you maybe accidentally might end up killing someone in the process. Wouldn't be a great idea either. And it is kind of very much illegal. So when it comes to cannonball racing, you got the Scuderia, and then you got the Italia. Which, yeah, speaking of the cannonball racing, nowadays that's just a time attack. Which I say time attack loosely. A lot of freaking people exploit the crap out of the police on that. By using police scanners and stuff that they shouldn't have in the car, but they have it anyways, or make their car look like a fake police car. Yeah, like, how do you consider these people winners when they use exploits, you know? Cause I kinda don't. Cause at that point, that's just not much of a time attack. That's just, you know, being exploitive. I will say. Yeah, so back to looking at this event. At the end of the day, just got a bunch of Ferraris driving around. Cause yeah, this is the worst part. I don't really have much to say because it's just Ferraris racing around the Ferrari track, no less. On top of it, because I'm not surprised. So yeah, I think they have this track. They have the Maggiore, Lago Maggiore. It's another Italy track, and there's a third one too. I'm trying to remember that one, but there's like 3 Italy tracks, and then they have Dragon Trail, Big Track 2. I don't think it's Barcelona, but if it is Barcelona, I'd be surprised. But I thought that was Spain. It's track. You got F12 Bernetta, the Scuderia, 512 Bernetta Boxer. Yeah, pretty basic overall, but yeah, I mean, all you need to do to win this event, just have some race hard tires. You're pretty set. Because I will say, this PP on this car is very low. It's like only 641. So not a whole lot going on there. It has a great fuel perhaps, but I have to check on that part. This I basically just set this up at the end of the day, because I basically just turn around like, let's see, what do I need to do? Do I need to do delivery to this? Do I need to do speed testing or build stuff? Or a quick build, you know? And then I just throw it on the platter, so you call it good. But yeah, you got, oh yeah, there's the F12 Bernetta, speaking of. A car, as I said, that German car is considered too fast for a Ferrari. Because I guess like some people, they just want a straight up just fun 600 horsepower car at the end of the day. So sad, but when you see a car like that that hits like 700, 800, oh crap. So that's just a bit too fast. Just a bit. I mean, we're talking like 230 mile per hour hitting barrier there, and I know that because the Aventime does that with the GT3 motor. The problem is it's not really good there because the acceleration stutters like really bad once you hit up that scale. But when you had 200 though, it's fine. 230 though, that's just a bit too much because FF's just panic underneath that strain. That much horsepower stress. Because yeah, when you up a car's horsepower, you do make it more unstable as you add more and more to it. And there's a point where you just add it too much to the car that it's just not the same. So something that technically my dad taught me in the process. It's like, oh, you know, he isn't wrong on that, man, because there's just some cars that just do not need this amount of horsepower because you put this amount of horsepower in it. Why did you put this amount of horsepower in it? I mean, I know it's given, but you know, Just because it's given doesn't mean it's a good idea to put on at the end of the day. Because some cars are just weren't. I mean, I get it, it's there, but it's also just not good to put on at the end of the day. It's just a really weird saying. It's a very weird saying to it. And it makes a 50-50 saying at the end of it, you know? It's a very weird saying at the end of it. Then again, I come to learn that if you're up to suspension stuff, you won't suffer a lot of problems. Or you'll eliminate some of the problems that high horsepower cars have, eventually. Except if your name's an FF. That's the exception, because as much as you can raise that suspension, you can raise it somewhat to neutralize a little bit of it, but not all of it, so to say. Very weird in that regard. Very weird, very strange. And such. For that matter. Comes now until one more lap around the roundabout here. I think I'm just showcasing all the cars' dashboard at this point. Sounds pretty good for some of these cars. I'm still gonna say out of all the Ferraris, I think my most favorite is still the Dino, which is hilarious because that is technically not a Ferrari, but it was built by Ferrari though, so it's just weird because Enzo did not consider this specific Ferrari a Ferrari because that was too low on the things. Considering it's a V6, it's the first V6. But he is easily one of the best V6s. Considering how fast that car can just move. And that car moves. Which is what's super impressive about the Dino. Yeah, if there was a Ferrari I would own, it probably just that and just that alone. I respect the Dino. So all the other Ferraris are kind of either big or too clunky. I think that's the reason why. And now on to the World Touring Car 800 at Circuit de Santa Cruz A layout. So the big layout basically. Which I am driving the DBR9 GT1 or Aston Martin DBR9 GT1. So I have a lot of things to say about this race at the end of the day, besides being a very long race, 25 minutes, with just this alone, because I will say I did 200 mile per hour build for this, which I was doing 200 mile per hour builds for two other cars too that were in Aston Martin's family too, which is the DP100. I think I should have tried 230 for that car's case, but it is what it is. It didn't do it at the end of the day, because it's just a bit slow. It hits like 680 pp or something like that. And then I tried the Vulcan. You know, you'd think when it's a track car, you'd think it'd be like one of the most insane, fastest hypercars on the planet. Not in my case though. In my case, that is easily one of the worst track cars I have ever driven, to say. Because how weak it feels. It feels utterly weak and pointless. Like you're better off just driving a Valkyrie than that damn thing. And that's bad to say because the Valkyrie is newish and stuff. The Vulcan is like 2015 or 16. But at the end of the day, what the Vulcan reminds me of is just a more tuned modified DB at the end of the day. And that disgusts me at the end of the day. So, I will say the Vulcan is definitely one of the most hated cars in my eyes, as a result. Because, and then not only that, it weighs like 3,000 pounds, which, when I expect a track car, I kind of expect it to weigh at least 2,500, unless it has a big old V12, or something special that's big, I would understand it. But when it's an Aston Martin, and, you know, it's a V8, or V12 or something like that from it. Oh wait, yeah, I take it back, it is a V12. But the thing is, my biggest problem is it weighs very heavy too, and then not only that, it burns through the tires like no tomorrow, it burns through fuel like no tomorrow. I'm just trying to figure out why does it exist at the end of it. What's the point of this? car at the end of it. I don't know what's with the Vulcan. So I'm trying to figure out more. I don't know my final answer that it is the shittiest car ever, but it damn well feels like it. It's the worst part. And I hate to say that at the end of it, because at the end of the day, it just tells me, yeah, just down tune the Vulcan, and just have a better experience. Put it in grade 4 Spectrum. That is a big old diss, I gotta say. But it just if it wants it, give it what it wants. So but yeah, the DBR9 is definitely much better than the Vulcan though. Because it has better fuel, better tires. I mean, I'm not surprised it's going to have that. It's a freaking race car. It's a GT1 race car, and matter of fact, a very surprising race car out of all of them, because this is like the last of the modern GT1 race cars too. That shocks me the most. That we have to this day. Because in terms of modern GT1s, the only ones I could think of to add in the future would be like the Celine S7R, the Lamborghini Gallardo GT1 race car, the J-Lock I could think of, a Viper maybe. There might be a Viper. I'm not really sure on that matter. I just know where the DBR9 sits, I think that was the breaking point for GT1s, where they're gonna just, you know, defunct at that point, because there just wasn't a whole lot of GT1 race cars and such. The other one I'm thinking is maybe the SL had a GT1 maybe, but not for sure. I'm just very close on that time period point for the GT1s race cars. So to say that, yeah, I'm kind of surprised we have this at the end of the. Oh, I think because I think that Z4 is a GT3 race car. So yeah, it's just really weird, because I think that's when GT3 just started overlapping GT1s, because there just wasn't a lot of interesting supercars and hypercars, because the GT1s were just made in mind for those that cost an arm and a leg, basically, of $100,000 to about $2 million kind of cars. Something in the high expense, where GT3s were like, they were up there. They're not that super crazy for that most part. I'll take that back. I think they still kind of are in at least 100,000 range, but they're not like insane, you know. Just up to a point. So we have a BRZ GT300, which, you know, BRZ are like 30 grand. And then you got M6s, which probably hit like 50 or 80,000 and such. So yeah, it's just kind of crazy. And then we have an Aston Martin Vanch, which that Vanch is special because it has a V12 instead of the V8. I think we had the V8 in production, but we had the V12 in race car form. Yeah, it's just kind of crazy in that matter. This is just how it's gone to be, so to say. Because yeah, GT1 was basically the higher ups of GT3s. They were kind of like that midpoint between GT2s. When I say GT2s, I mean GT500s to GT3s, which is weird to say, because GT500s are also weird too, because saying, hey look, there's an SX GT500 right there. That, on the other hand, is an old GT500 though. The real GT500s are like around 2008 to 2016-ish. 2016-ish is when they really pushed it. Because those cars can hit about the level of a grade 1 race car, which LMPs. Which is insane. It's like, holy crap, you made a production car as fast as the Le Mans experiment cars. It's like, holy shit, that's an achievement. I gotta say. I mean, the car's still very fake-ish at the end of the day. It's the biggest problem about GT500 cars, but it is what it is, though. It's like, that's insane at the end of the day. And, you know, at the end of the day, these cars still don't really hit 200 miles per hour at the end of the day. It's just more of a maneuverability and aerodynamics that these cars evolve. Which is fine, because we technically do not need to go, like, super fast when it comes to around tracks and stuff, because if you're going that fast, it's very dangerous when you're wrecked, because you're most likely to die, even with the safety gear applied. I don't know, it's a really weird saying, but then again, reminder that we have former cars too, and they're not much better, so. They're basically the bikes of cars. If you so happen to, like, obliterate one. Those are... Yeah, my goal is to just get up to, at least reach into the 911 before we do a big old skip here, because, yeah, I wasn't gonna record this whole thing. If I did, it wouldn't have got recorded. This part would have its own dedication, which I don't want to do that. So, then I still remind myself to that day of that one weekly event they did where it's an hour race, but it's not a good costume race at all. I think it was like 100 or 200 grand just for an hour. GT3 cars. It was like one of the worst events period. The only reason why you would do it the first time is because at least you get the bonus money reward, which was $1 million, but you don't get it the second time though, which is what sucks. Which is kind of weird because I kind of think if that's how they should handle the mission challenges, if they don't want people exploiting those challenges at the end of the day, is have like a weekly restriction to them. Like once you just do this mission event once, you can't get the amount of money again until next time or next week. So say, or next week's refreshment. So say. That's how I think it should be handled, but you know, I'm just outer box thinking, you know, thinking a bit too smart for their eyes. So then, like I said, again for this update, we had 3 failure cars and 1 good one. But yeah, you'll be seeing that failure soon enough. I just cannot believe it because from what I've seen in the production car, it's pretty bad. So I thought it goes 155. I was sorely mistaken, like big time. It goes like only 142. Okay, there's some pitting. Yeah, there's some racers pitting and stuff. So they can only handle about 3 laps, 4. Which is kind of surprising because that's the M6 endurance one. You wouldn't think that one would go in immediately. It did. There's the Ford GT2, I believe. Alright, now it looks like it's fine. They're both pretty well on fuel. Okay. So it was just the RX Vision and the M6 that went in. And then, Jesus. And then there. Sweet Jesus. So just trying to reach this 911 OSR, because yeah, I'm definitely going to say I'm definitely going to beat them at the end of the day. It's just a matter of getting up there. Matter of steps. Yeah, they're racing hard tires because I didn't want to do with racing mediums, even though I should have done racing mediums at this point. It's a race car. This car could handle it. Turn a tire burn factor. I'm just like also thinking in mind of what's this? I'm also thinking of trying to say it. I guess being on par when it comes to my builds and stuff at the end of the day, because I kind of do restrict like every car should wear race hard tires at the end of the day, so I don't have a problem. So because tires, especially in this game's case, definitely change the whole car at the end of the day into its own tier and stuff on top of it. So the car sometimes to not burn as much, it's technically like one of the best cars. So yeah, if you can come across a car that does not burn its tires very much, that's a very good car. Right, so now just basically try to pass the 911, and that basically technically ends that, although I gotta go fuel anyways. He's got at least another lap, but I basically got him at this point. Because he's basically gonna pit on the next lap afterwards. But that basically just tells me I basically just took him. Because no matter what, you have to pit at least once in this race. But if you got a very fast car, you could technically pit twice. It's just a matter that each lap takes about 3 minutes and stuff. This is a very long race for like not a good reason. And especially, I think you only get like 200 grand or 400 grand this race, so it's not really worth it at all. Or 300 grand, I believe. It's just not very good. It's not very good at all. This race sucks in comparison to the Sardinia windmill race. But that's still probably the best one so far. This $485,000 for like 20 minutes, maybe. That's still probably the best one. Because that's not a whole lot of time having to spend on that. And such. Now, I will say I could have done one of the engine swap cars, but I wasn't really thinking that far ahead, so I just kind of just want to drive an Aston Martin. You know. I also was kind of curious about the Vulcan. Also, yeah, this happened. What happened here? Let's see. And he turns in, and he loses control and gets hit by the M6 Sprint. Okay. That happened. So. But yeah, I was very curious about doing the Vulcan in this race. It's like, okay, sure, it could probably do it with 200 miles per hour, right? It can't even do that. That's sad. Because of its tire burning so much, or the fuel just eaten alive. So because it has a production gas tank and production tires and such. So. Yep, so now they basically just drive us to victory, so. Because in terms of if anyone was like really being a competition to me, it was probably the Lexus RCF. I was shocked about that. And I think that's also the special vinyl one too. My back. Because I will say, this is one of the cases where they added cars other than the GT3 cars for once. Because I will say, I take that one case back where I said that mostly just GT3s. This is one of the cases where it's not all GT3s, but here and there, basically. So, like you'll see a case, you'll see the DBR9 in one of the races, or maybe the McLaren F1, maybe. That might be a special event, I'm just thinking. Because in terms of the special event, like it's that 1 hour one again, I'll refer to. That has the Ford GT, not GT3, but the Ford GT race car that Gran Turismo made for Gran Turismo 4. I don't think the prototype one, I think it was just a regular white one. If it was, it was. Yeah, you also got those ones too, which those are technically GT1 race cars too. But yeah, speaking of that, yeah, they could do the Ford GT1 race car. I don't know if that car is the GT1 race car of Ford, but if it is, then cool. I didn't realize that in my case. Yep, basically on the final stretch here. And there we go. Basically that wraps that for this event and this weekly in general, which if I gotta say about this weekly is probably a C. It's probably kind of basic. It's kind of casual. But here's the rewards, which is not much. You get 3-star from the marathon. So don't worry about that. It's just the 3 others. The 3 others are just cash rewards. So not really a whole lot for this weekly's entirely, but if you just fast swing it, I guess you'll get something out of it, but it's not a whole lot at the end of the day. But that basically wraps that, so to say. So until then, people, I'll see you guys all next time. Until then, enjoy this teaser I had, because this was the car I was going to drive for that event, but sadly it just wasn't up to snuff. Maybe if I did the 230 mile per hour, it might be quicker, because it could go up to like 800 horsepower, I believe. I was just kind of worried because of fuel burn reasons, but this was the car that was going to do the final event, but here you go instead, you can get to look at it. Because even vinyl design and everything too. I mean, it's not a whole lot, but it was something. Yeah, this is the Aston Martin DP100. So, Until then, people, I'll see you guys all next time. You guys take care and ciao.